Part of the spirit to save the USS Iowa started under the Golden Dome of the Iowa Capitol. Most of us know something about the USS Iowa thanks to this model parked near the rotunda.
When I served here in the Capitol, every year we have thousands and thousands of school kids come to this building. And what do they like the most? This model.
The big ship itself was 3 football fields long.
That spurred former Iowa lawmaker Jeff Lamberti into action.
And when I found out that the Iowa was the only one of the 4 Iowa-class battleships that had not been saved, kind of thought, that's not right.
Lamberti learned of an ongoing effort in California to save the USS Iowa.
I drove up to see the ship in August of 2011 and drove up to it in a boat, and she looked really rough. Frankly, my heart fell when I saw her.
Mike Getcher is the vice president of engineering on the Iowa. He helped crews assess what it would take to restore the Iowa. Some thought the Iowa would soon be used for target practice by the Navy and end up underwater.
We spent a little over $2 million up in San Francisco area just cleaning her up and getting her ready for tow. The paint alone, just the material, was just under $200,000.
After months of work in Richmond, California by lots of volunteers and contractors, the USS Iowa was towed from San Francisco Bay to Los Angeles. It took a lot of time and a lot of money to bring this ship out of mothballs in Northern California to the dock here at Los Angeles. Those who run the Battleship Center say they're grateful for the help from the state of Iowa.
A critical component of what we needed was the money that came from the state of Iowa, and we are in fact forever grateful.
Now the USS Iowa is proudly parked at the Pacific Battleship Center, berth 87. That's in San Pedro, a neighborhood of southern Los Angeles. It's next to a huge shipping port for ocean-going cargo in the port of Los Angeles. Visitors tour up and around the bridge of the ship, which is encased in 17 inches of steel. Visitors get to tour President Roosevelt's quarters. The Navy installed an elevator and a bathtub for the president while he was aboard en route to a peace conference in Tehran. He was there to meet with Stalin and Churchill to coordinate forces in World War II.
Now, turret 1 is in the loading position, turret number 2 is in the firing position. After it fires, it comes down to the loading position automatically.
It shakes everywhere. People often ask, what's it like when the guns fire? Can you feel it down below? Because that's where I worked. You can feel it everywhere on the ship when the guns fire. It is very, very impressive.
In 1989, tragedy struck the USS Iowa when 47 sailors were killed in a gun turret explosion.
Called an open breech explosion. And the origins of that were never really determined. So it's a very sad day in the history of the ship.
The ship's crew would like to expand the current tour to make more of the decks of the USS Iowa accessible to the mobility impaired. They'd like visitors to see the medical operating area, and there's also a dentist's office, and even Iowa's official U.S. Post Office.
And we'd like to start working on the hull, of course, to make sure that she stays with us for another 50 to 100 years.
The USS Iowa is still seeking money from private sources, and they're asking the state of Iowa for $1.2 million.
Eventually, we will get money from the state of California.
As for Lamberti, a former lawmaker, he was influenced by some very young visitors to take action. An action which meant the USS Iowa was saved.
It's been 5, 6, 7 years. I lose track of how long I've been working on this, and some people would say I'm crazy, but it is now saved. It is a museum. It's a great attraction, so it was worth all the work.
In Los Angeles, Roger Riley, Channel 13 News.